You've played Symphony of the Night on the PlayStation 1. You've played Symphony of the Night on the Sega Saturn, maybe. You may have even played it on Tiger handhelds. Ugh. But did you know that there is a version of Symphony of the Night that is so awful, so bad, it didn't come out until now? That's right. We are diving into the Tiger Electronics GameCom version of Castlevania Symphony of the Night. And it is, without a doubt, the worst version of Symphony of the Night I have ever played. Ever. It is so bad. There are no words for it. The music is terrible. The gameplay is awful. The controls are horrendous. It's so stiff. It's so broken. It's awful. It's so bad. I have to show you this. I'm so sorry. Let's go. Alright. This is the playthrough, or semi-playthrough, of the Tiger GameCom, or Game.com, version of Castlevania Symphony of the Night. This is horrendous. I'm just going to give you a heads up. I play this on a GameCom emulator, and it seems initially a bit complicated to get working, but I eventually figured it out. Game just boots right into the very first cutscene. All still images, as you could see here, just with the, cycling of the words, the dialogue here. Perhaps the same could be said of all religions. Your words are as empty as your soul. Mankind ill needs a savior such as you. So clearly, the Symphony of the Night PS1 version. What is a man? A miserable little pile of secrets. But enough talk. Have at you. And then you whip him and that's it. Then they go to that 3D, map thing. And a horribly rendered image of the full motion video that you see in Symphony of the Night. It just looks horrendous. It just looks so muddy. It's like they screenshotted it and they're like, yeah, pixelate that. So here we have the narrative from Symphony of the Night complete. Totally complete. All the dialogue is complete as well, as far as I could tell. I didn't notice any major differences. All the dialects and everything. There's no missing words or anything like that. So it's pretty impressive. And I'll eventually hit the A button there. Controls are really bad as well in this. In terms of the setup, I had to use Joy to Key with a old school controller. I'm sure you could probably figure out how to get it working via Bluetooth or whatever, but my setup's pretty old school, as I've mentioned on previous videos when it comes to capturing this type of stuff. But I think the most competent thing that they've done here is showcase the fact that they got the all the dialogue, and this is like if you took still images of Symphony of the Night and made that into a game, basically. It is a mostly unplayable mess, as you're gonna see in this as soon as we get past this cutscene here. I was reading along. I was trying to, see if there was any major differences between the PS1 version and this version. And like I said, I couldn't tell any major differences. Drops you right into the game. There's no running animation of Alucard running into the castle. I went back just to see if, maybe I skipped something or whatever. Maybe hit a button. Nope, nothing. So I don't know. The running cycle is very rough. It's obviously, they tried to get it as smooth as they could, but in all honesty, I think that's part of the problem why the game runs so slow. You'll notice when I'm attacking, that my hitboxes, both myself and enemies, is so short, especially for enemies. Like, look, I'm hitting enemies multiple times. So this is jumping ahead a little bit. This is not a full, playthrough as far as, you're not going to see every little bit. I wanted to save a little time. So I chose to showcase the parts that, I wanted to talk about. So, the water, there's no effects from the water. You can't go through that little tunnel there. If you break away the blocks, there's no blocks to break away from. In fact, all of the walls, there's no wall meat, there's no hidden items. There are candles, as you could see. I'm whipping candles or attacking candles and getting items, but almost all the items I'm getting are either 5 gold or an occasional turkey or potluck, sort of meal, or pot roast meal, rather. Or I'm getting, hearts. And that's about it. I don't know. The enemies just kept popping up, and I was like, you know what? I'm just going to keep going, because I'm not going to keep bothering to attack. You can level up. What's weird is, and you'll notice this later on in the boss battle, if you're attacking while you're in a boss battle, you'll notice that the level up will just keep popping up. It'll keep coming up as you're attacking. Here's the death cutscene. Alucard, what is your business here? I've come to put an end to this. Still befriending mortals. I love his voice. I'll not ask you to return to our side, but I demand you cease your attack. And look, before he even takes the items, they just appear. I will not. Or I will not. You shall regret those words. We will meet again. I love that he takes the items before he even finishes speaking. Like, that's so silly. Alright. So now I'm completely powerless, pretty much. Totally weak. I'm a weak boy. Weak boy. Just a little weak boy. Running around. Jumping from platform to platform. It is agonizingly slow. Agonizingly slow. I also want to bring up the music. Oh my god, it's so bad. It is so bad. Yeah, so now you're in the alchemy laboratory. Like, boom, right there. And I don't know, they've like really, I don't know, man. This map is all over the place. You'll see the map, like they only show sections of the map. Here you can press the switch, it immediately respawns backwards. Look, I didn't even get a chance to jump, hardly. They give you the Basilard, or Basilard, which is that little tiny sword. Fun fact, all of the weapons, aside from the fists, are identical in terms of the way it looks when your sprite is using them. Morningstar, short sword, almost every single weapon looks exactly the same. The sub-weapons are the only ones that look different. Here's me trying to figure out what buttons I can press on the keyboard to get into the menu, because I wanted to try to equip something. So F3 brought up the sound, F2 brought up do you want to quit, and F1 brought up the map. If you press F1 again, it brings up the equipment, which you can change. The equipment screen is mostly, it makes sense, there's spells, which I went into and I was like, oh, you could do Hellfire? I was like, oh, sweet. So I tried to do Hellfire and it worked, but yeah. Oh, and I picked up Cube of Zoe. I must have cut that part out, but yeah, you pick up Cube of Zoe. There's Hellfire, which is like, okay, all right, you tried your best there. The attacks are worthless. I'm telling you right now, like, you get attacked almost every single time you attack something. So, I mean, like, look, I got hit and, like, you could barely see my hitbox. Like, I don't know. I was getting hit in this game without even being near enemies sometimes. Like, it was just awful. The jumping is so slow. Here's where I get the leap stone. I know, they put it so early in this area. So there's the leap stone with the double jump. When I first did it, it looked like a glitch. Oh, here's the save spot. So what I did was I just saved. In the emulator, it gives you the option to save. If you just go to File, and then you could just do save. See, there you go, save state. You'll notice the audio is kind of glitching out because I'm doing this while I'm recording, so it's like... Man, this music is horrendous. It's so bad. It's like a little kid learning a song, trying to figure out how to play it, and the song is just so bad. Everything about it is horrendous. Almost all of the enemies are missing from this game in terms of like sprites and styles of enemies. Oh, I got a leather hat. Great. So let me go ahead and equip that. Fun. Yay, leather hat. Okay. Oh, and I got a cloth tunic apparently. Okay. Yeah, if you look at the double jump, it looks like a sprite glitch. It looks like the sprite wasn't finished. I don't know what they were thinking there. Like, why? It's so awful. You can equip a second weapon if you wanted to. I did not test this out other than the shields, which you'll see in a minute. Or in a little bit, rather. You get a lot of your equipment back right away, like the Alucard shield and whatnot. Here's the sub-weapons. An axe is the first one that I got. Oh, and there's the Morning Star. And again, I'm going to go into the menu. Yep. And I'm going to equip the Morning Star instead of the Basilard. And look, it's exactly the same. I was like, you've got to be kidding me. The Morning Star is, at least in the game, is like a mace, if I recall. It's not the Morning Star like a whip. It's called the Morning Star, but I think, I'm almost positive it's a mace. So here's the big battle, the big very first battle, where you face off a bit against these Super Castlevania 4 enemies. And you'll notice, look, it just keeps saying level up. Alright, so he went pretty easy. And yeah, this one, I moved away, and I was like, alright, well, maybe he'll come to me, and he didn't, so I was like, alright, cool. I guess never mind, then. Those bosses, by the way, are named Gaibon and Slagra. Slagra is the guy on the bottom who has the spear, and Gaibon is the flying enemy that you see here. These were first featured in Super Castlevania 4 as some of Dracula's hench enemies, I guess you could say. I don't know why this random skeleton monster guy pops out of nowhere, but as you can see, I'm moving on. Here's a little bit further into the game. Not much further. Again, just the jumping is so horrendous. It's so slow and stiff. Here's another save spot. And again, just very easy. Just go in, save the state. It works. I just saved over my save state. I replaced it and problem solved. And it kept going. This next part that we're coming to is more of the same for the most part. We're still working our way through this area. And there's the Alucard shield, which I think I equipped. Yep. There's the marble gallery that we're in. Just some of the differences from some of the stuff that I'm seeing. I mean, the backgrounds are so static. You're going to see in a little bit, so there's a key part that you would think, you know, they would make pop out and that you can interact with, but nope, you cannot. They did manage to get this guy in. I think his name is the Shield Knight or something like that. game, just keep going. I don't know. It's just so stiff and so unfun. Jumping and attacking the candles is such it it is such a challenge to do anything in this game. And again, I really think that the animation on Alucard is what's causing a lot of the slow, stiff movement. You know, they did such a, I don't know, they did a job. They did such a job trying to get that animation in that I think it really kind of made the rest of the game suffer. It's the most animated part of the entire game. Here's the sub-weapon. Fun fact, the sub-weapons are basically useless. They don't do hardly anything. I don't know. Yeah, they're not good. They're not very good at all. Just got a broadsword. Can't remember if I equip it. See, there's supposed to be a door there, and there's no door. You'll find that in this game, that there's a lot of situations where there's no door. You'd think that there's a door, and there's no door. Or there's supposed to be a door in the main game, like if you played the PlayStation 1 or Saturn versions of the game, or literally any version of the game, and there's no door. And I understand, I get it, they had to make sacrifices, they couldn't have certain things, but like, the one thing I'll say about this game is that there's a lot more interaction with both the background as well as the characters and really just everything in the game. There's just so much more interaction than you're seeing here. It's pretty strange. This is the clock, the room with all the clocks. And you're supposed to get to the room with Maria, which you're going to see in a minute. And again, the music, which is horrendous, it drops out as soon as you start talking to her. Yep, there you go. What do you here? I've come to destroy this castle. And we have the same purpose. I'll trust you for now. I'm Maria. Who are you? Who are? It's not even a question. There's an exclamation point. Alucard, not the talkative type I could see. Well, we may meet again if you live that long. Farewell. And then, boom. That's it. Here's, I skipped ahead. Here is, oh man, so here's a heart max up, and I believe health max up, or maybe another heart max up. It's so hard to tell. You also notice again, some of the enemies that you would normally encounter, like that the Owl Knight that you fight earlier in that section and in the beginning of the game, they're gone. They did manage to get the plant enemy in the game. This part right here, you're supposed to be able to look through the lens to see the fisherman who's like hanging out in the boat. Not fisherman, the ferryman, and they are nowhere to be seen. You cannot access it. I figured, oh, let me try the other side. Maybe it's on the other side in this version. Nope, it's not there. Tried every button combination I could think of. Nothing. So we're moving on. We're going to try the very difficult struggle of trying to get back up. I found that some of the difficulty of this game was actually not really the enemies, but more so trying to get back up to a spot that you dropped down from. Double jumping is near impossible. What you've got to do is you've got to hold the button. It's very similar actually to Order of Shadows, the game that I reviewed fairly recently, where you have to hold down the button and kind of manipulate and move your directional pad as you're moving to try to get it to go, and just timing the jumps right. It's just abysmal. It's so horrendous. There you saw a quick flash of the shield, which I equipped. So shield works. I don't know if it actually blocks anything, because I don't recall during my playthrough actually using the shield to block. But we're still in the outer wall, and we're gonna tried to go further up the wall to the library. I did go through almost the entire library, could not find the librarian whatsoever. So there's that. I probably played this for a good, I'd say, combined hour and a half to 2 hours. So this is not a full playthrough of the game. Here we go. I skipped ahead. We got to the doppelganger of Alucard, which he just takes it. I mean, just... And again, that level up just keeps flashing, keeps, staying on there. Again, useless sub-weapons. They're just almost completely useless. The animation of him kind of exploding and turning into blood is pretty cool. I don't know, maybe the only positive thing I'll say about this entire thing. You can collect food. The food works pretty well for the most part. You open up the menu and equip the food, use it, and then just go equip your weapon, which... Here's the part that I was talking about before. So the door does not open. There's no animation for the door opening. You cannot lift that platform at all whatsoever. And you'll see in a little bit. I was talking earlier about this as far as what you could do with it. I jumped ahead again here, further into the library, just for pacing's sake, trying to get to these higher platforms. Here's the book. The book looks like it's part of the background. So some of the enemies look like they fit with, they're on the same play area as you, and then others, like that book, for example, do not. They look like they're hidden in the background. So it kind of took me for a second. I was like, wait, is that a bad guy? So, yeah, the plant monster they were able to fit in, which is nice. It wasn't part of this area, really. I mean, there was a smaller plant that, if I recall, that would pop up, but I don't think that longer plant would pop up. Here's the frustrating part. So I fell through the floor and was not able. I dropped all the way back down, because this is when I left the library and I went back to the outer wall to try to figure out, okay, well, I gotta. What you're supposed to do is you're supposed to go all the way to the top left area of this outer wall, and there is a thing that you can hit with your sword or weapon, and if you hit it a few times, it'll trigger right here. Nope, you gotta go further down. Go down, dummy. Yeah, that. So I tried hitting it multiple times, could not get it to go. No signs of interaction whatsoever. So I gave up. So what that means is that lift is there for absolutely no reason whatsoever. There's no reason for that lift to be there. They could have just made it so that the platforms were there, if they're going to be too lazy to actually design the lift to rise up to bring you to the higher place. This is the clock tower area. The whole bottom area. I mean, like, the song "The Tragic Prince" plays in this part, and it's like one of my favorite Castlevania tunes. And it's such a bummer that this just horrendous, like, do 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 do. It's just so repetitive. It's not anywhere close. It's like the worst Castlevania music. It's the worst music, really. It just sounds like Tonka toys, like dong 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 dong. It sounds like somebody playing on a xylophone. They're just playing the same thing over and over like a little kid. I don't know who designed this music. It must have been placeholder music or something. I don't know. But it is one of the worst and most aggravating parts of the game, because you have to hear this music. I mean, I guess you could mute it and play, like, whatever song is playing in this area and just, like, play the music. But, I didn't. For whatever reason, I decided to torture you because I was tortured, so you have to be tortured too while you listen to this and watch this god-awful game. It's just so bad. So I was able to get up to the higher part just by climbing this area right here. And there are no spaces in between the platforms. You're going to see it in just a second. So normally in this area, there's breaks in between the platforms, and you're supposed to double jump or fly if you got bat power, so that way you could get to the end. That way you can climb the tower and or get higher up to advance throughout the game, and that is just simply not here. Not here. You just run from place to place. There is, I think, maybe one small gap. I don't have bat power. I couldn't tell you if there is any kind of powers like mist power or bat power. I did not see anything like that. So I'm assuming that there's not. There is apparently familiars, but I did not unlock any of them. Here's the little transport area that allows you to transport between areas to give you kind of a shortcut. This is the only one that I was able to find. It brings you back to the same outer wall area. I don't know, no clue. Maybe that's just because I didn't find the other ones. I do not know. I just thought that was super strange. We're gonna jump ahead. Here's one of the fights with one of the bosses. And as you can see, it just goes by like super quick. Here you can see me using the stopwatch animation menu item, and it doesn't do anything as far as the enemies are concerned for the most part. Which I thought was ridiculous. That bird creature, by the way, was called the hippogriff, if you didn't know. So I did encounter a number of bosses in this game, and they all, were directly from Symphony of the Night. So I guess, that's a thing. That's a positive. I guess they kept those bosses. Alucard shield and Alucard shield. Here's the final cutscene that I encountered with Maria. It seems so. It seems so. As friendly as ever, I see. It's strange. This castle is different than I remember it. This castle is a creature of chaos. It may take many incarnations. So I can't trust my memories, huh? Oh well, I'll do my best. Good luck. And that's pretty much it. Oh man, this was just horrendous. It's just so bad. I gave up at this point. I was like, okay. First off, I saw that enemy and was like, wait a minute, why is that enemy here? That enemy doesn't show up until you get underground. So I was thinking, like, maybe this is the game trying to tell me to go underground. So I went to the map and I was like, I can't be bothered. This is just horrendous. This is bad. Just absolutely horrendous. Worst version of Symphony of the Night I've ever played. This game deserved better. So that's it. That's Symphony of the Night on the GameCom. Let me know what you think down in the comments below. It's really terrible. I can't even, there are no words to how bad this thing is. But I'm curious about what you guys think, if you're gonna go and try it out yourself, or do you think this thing should have come out? Let me know down in the comments below. As always, guys, thanks for watching. More Castlevania news and info later. Take care.